Hi students, welcome to Module 13. In this review of the Module 13, I'm going to go over the self-assessment in case you are considering being a court interpreting. So you can download the PDF document. You have to download it onto your desktop in order to be able to fill in the blanks for the questions. So very briefly, this is a questionnaire that is posted in the Judicial Council of California, and that is the entity that oversees the court interpreting program. Here, you're going to get tested for 5 areas: the linguistic skills, speaking skills, interpreting, listening, and your reading comprehension. So there's a rating scale, and this rating scale, you're going to mark number 1 if you're very knowledgeable or skilled in that particular question, area of the question, okay? And number 2, if you know a good amount about this, but it would be useful to learn more. So there's room for improvement. And number 3 is you have some knowledge or skill, but it would be useful to learn more. Again, room for improvement. And 4 is when you know very little or nothing, but would like to learn more. So here are the questions. This is the linguistic part. I'm able to speak English fluently and can incorporate specialized terminology, regional colloquialisms, and slang terms with ease. So if this is a yes, it would be 1. And if you are not there yet, it would be a 4, and everything else is in between. So you will do that for the linguistic skills part, same for the speaking skills, the listening comprehension, reading comprehension, and interpreting skills. Then it gives you the instructions on how to add your points and also what your experience is for interpreting. And it gives you some feedback as to your areas for professional development. And going back again, we went over each one of these skills. Remember, these are your KSA, your knowledge, skills, and abilities. KSA, that's the acronym. And we went over all these 5 components throughout the modules in the class. The linguistic, for example, is when we went over the terminology. So you're getting knowledge of the terminology in both languages, colloquial regionalism. Speaking skills. So that's when how comfortable are you to be able to speak in front of an audience, in this case in a courtroom. What's your comfort level? And one of our speakers, if you were there when he came from the Court Interpreters Program, a California Certified Court Interpreter, he mentioned a little bit and he talked about that and how to reach that comfort zone. Your interpreting skills, how well do you feel when you are doing oral interpretation, being consecutive or be simultaneous? So do you practice, you do shadowing? And then listening skills, when some of the exercises that I had for you record your voice, and that was right at the beginning. How comfortable are you to listen to your own interpretation? So that way it gives you room for improvement so that you can record yourself. Reading skills, again, looking at all the glossaries, the vocabularies, continue your professional development in that particular field. For example, those of you that are going into court interpreting, you might want to consider taking more legal terminology classes. And those of you going into medical, just the same, taking more medical terminology. So based on the area of expertise that you want to work on, we also talked about education. It's learning that terminology for that particular field, and we have provided you for various different kinds of glossaries for various industries. Again, this is in a PDF format, but you will not be able to fill it out unless you download it onto your desktop or your laptop. And here is just summarizes the main concepts that we have reviewed throughout the course. So we looked over the 3 modes of interpretation: the sight translation, consecutive, and simultaneous. So this analyzes where you are in those 3 modes. We talked about the interpreter's code of conduct, the ethics, and that has to do with your professional and your behavior, your professional skills in this particular field. Note taking, your additional skills, you're memorizing, you're note taking, you're multitasking because you're looking for words for definitions in both languages. Preparation skills, I gave you some material ahead of time to be able to prepare. So you always know when we did, for example, the sight translation, it's always helpful to have the material ahead of time. So interpreter resources, again, glossaries, pre-interpretation preparation, information, and additional skills, ability to self-assess, which is what this particular document does for you. So you could have an idea of where you are and what areas you need to improvement, and also your courtroom knowledge. So the Judicial Council just posted this in the beginning of 2018 to allow professionals that are considering to going into the court interpreting program to be able to self-assess them so that they can plan and be able to come up with an action plan on what it is that they need to do to improve and what areas they need improvement. So please make sure you take this assessment if you are considering going into the court interpreting program. And if you need to discuss with me your results in class so that I can help you also come together, or with your legal interpreting professor, Margarita de la Torre, so we both can help you come together with an action plan. So that summarizes how to fill out this form. Once again, it's very important, especially if you're considering going into the legal field, that you do this self-assessment. Thank you.